soul of the game is at the boxing voice. No pulling punches or feints up at the boxing voice. They shoot it straight to your face up at the boxing voice. Ain't no other sight in the game to see the boxing voice.
BoxingVoice.com live with Paulie the Magic Man Malignaggi minutes after Garcia versus Peterson ended. What did you see tonight?
It was a really good fight. I guess the judges felt that Lamont gave away too many of the early rounds. It was a close fight. I can see how people would think that, but my question is, I don't know if you should reward Danny Garcia not being able to cut off the ring early on in the fight. You know, because yeah, Lamont didn't do a lot, but Danny also couldn't track him down in order to do a lot. And so from that regard, from that perspective, when the roles were switched and it was Danny going backwards late in the fight, Lamont was cutting the ring off and forcing Danny to fight when he didn't want to fight. I think that's important. You know, the guy can go backwards, and you're looking for the guy coming forward sometimes to get the round. And Lamont was only touching here and there and running a lot in the beginning. And yeah, I can see how you would give Garcia the rounds, but at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself the question: are you going to reward a guy who can't force the other guy to fight? I mean, at a certain point, Danny just looked up at Lamont and raised his hands, forced him to fight, cut the ring off. That's what you're supposed to do. When the roles were reversed, like I said, Lamont was cutting the ring off, and you know he was winning those rounds at the end. It's just, I guess, in the eyes of the judges, he got off to too late of a start, and that's how it works. You know, it was a very close fight.
Going forward, do you think this helps Danny's career or hurts it a little bit? And the same for Lamont going forward.
I think they just do a rematch and you know, this helps them both. It helps boxing, it helps everything. You know, you get a rematch. This was a great fight at the end of the day, good action. Once things heated up. So if you just do a rematch, you know, I don't see how either guy could really be affected in a negative way. So do it again. I mean, Garcia, I guess, can make junior welterweight, because he said earlier, I saw in an article that he said he wasn't going to move until next summer, move up. So I thought he was getting ready to move up. So if that's the case, if you can still make light welter, do a rematch and make it for all the titles, make it for all the marbles, and then you really make it something special, because you'll have an anticipated rematch of what was a really good, controversial fight, and you'll have all the titles on the line as well. So I think a rematch is the way to go, and I think a rematch at the super lightweight limit is the way to go.
Assuming a rematch doesn't happen and he goes immediately to 147 pounds, how do you think he fares against the likes of Keith Thurman, who's sitting ringside tonight?
I doubt he goes right up and fights Keith Thurman anyway, so I think the question wouldn't matter. I don't think he will. I think when you move up and weight, you're to test the waters out anyway. So I don't think he's going to jump right into a Keith Thurman fight.
One last question, Paulie. How much does this prove the common boxing axiom that styles make fights? You know, Matisse knocked Peterson out, Garcia beat Matisse, and Garcia struggled a little bit tonight with Peterson when most didn't expect him to.
Yeah, styles do make fights. It's an old adage, but it's very true. If you don't understand that, then don't watch boxing. You know, like at the end of the day, the styles will always make fights, and different guys will trouble certain fighters will trouble certain other fighters, even if you don't think on paper they match up very well. The styles will match up to make tough fights. And I think this was an example of that tonight.
One last question. We see on Instagram Paulie Malignaggi sparring. You know, is there something in the works? What's going on?
Nothing in particular in the works, but I'm working out, and I have one eye towards coming back, so we'll see.
We appreciate your time. Paulie Malignaggi.